Radar intercept officer. Contact. Bearing 245 low. Looks like a pair of bandits. They're turning into us. January 4th, 1989. 70 miles north of the Libyan coast. In the cockpit of a US Navy F-14 Tomcat. Call sign Victory 212. This is the sound of the Cold War turning hot. In 60 seconds, it would all be over. A lifetime compressed into a single violent minute over the Mediterranean Sea. Welcome to Top Tier TV. The year is 1989. The United States is conducting freedom of navigation exercises in the Gulf of Sidra, a body of water claimed by Libya's volatile leader, Muammar Gaddafi, as his line of death. Tensions are at a boiling point. On combat air patrol are two F-14A Tomcats from Fighter Squadron VF-32, the swordsman. In the lead jet, Victory 202, are Commander Joseph Joe Connelly, the pilot, and Lieutenant Leo Enzo Enright, his radar intercept officer, or RIO. Behind them is Victory 203. They are the tip of the spear, patrolling the edge of a potential war zone. Their aircraft, the legendary F-14, is a masterpiece of American engineering. With its variable sweep wings and powerful AWG-9 radar, it can track multiple targets from over 100 miles away, and in its belly, it carries a mix of long-range AIM-7 Sparrows and the deadly short-range AIM-9 Sidewinder, the infamous Fox 2 heat-seeking missile. For Connelly and Enright, the morning had been quiet. Then, at 11:55 a.m., an E-2C Hawkeye early warning aircraft radioed a warning. Two unidentified aircraft had taken off from Al-Bumbah airfield in Libya. They were MiG-23 Floggers, Soviet-built swing-wing fighters, fast, agile, and heavily armed. The Tomcats turned to investigate. Lieutenant Enright, in the back seat of Victory 202, painted the contacts with his powerful radar. He watched as the two blips climbed, turned, and began accelerating directly towards the American fighters. This was not a casual intercept. This was a hostile posture. The rules of engagement were clear. They could not fire first. They had to be certain of hostile intent. The Tomcats turned away, trying to de-escalate. They changed altitude. They maneuvered, but the MiGs kept coming, closing the distance at over 800 miles per hour. Enright, VO. They're locked on. They have a fire control radar on us. That was the key. The Libyan pilots had lit up the F-14s with their own targeting radar. In the language of air combat, this is as clear a declaration of intent as pointing a loaded gun. The threat was now undeniable. At a range of about 14 miles, with the MiGs closing fast, Commander Connelly made the call. Connelly, we're defensive, Fox 1. Victory 202 launched a radar-guided AIM-7 Sparrow, but the MiGs, agile and low, managed to break the lock. The Sparrow missed. The distance was now collapsing terrifyingly fast. The fight was about to get up close and personal. The two formations merged, the jets screaming past each other in a blur of gray paint and contrails. The Americans executed a hard, gut-wrenching turn to get behind the Libyans. The MiGs countered, also turning, trying to get into a position to fire their own missile. It was now a classic, twisting dogfight. In the backseat of Victory 203, the RIO, Commander James Luca Lucas, got a tone. The growl of the AIM-9 Sidewinder's seeker head filled his helmet, the sound of a missile having acquired the heat signature of an enemy engine. Luke, Fox 2. The first Sidewinder snaked through the sky, striking one of the MiG-23s. A fireball erupted. The Libyan pilot ejected. Now, it was down to two. Victory 202 versus the lead MiG. They were in a scissors maneuver, scissoring back and forth, each pilot fighting for the lethal advantage. The F-14, larger and less nimble at slow speeds, was at a disadvantage. The MiG was trying to get inside its turn. Commander Connelly, a supremely skilled pilot, performed a masterful maneuver. He reversed his turn, popped his air brakes to slow down abruptly, and forced the MiG to overshoot. For a split second, the Libyan jet was framed in his windshield, a perfect target. Enright, we've got tone. He's ours. Connelly, Fox 2. The second MiG-23 was instantly enveloped in a massive explosion. It broke apart and cartwheeled into the sea. The pilot did not eject. From the first radar lock to the second fireball, the entire engagement had lasted just 60 seconds. Splash 2 Floggers. The radio call was calm, professional, but in the cockpits, the adrenaline was overwhelming. They had just taken 2 human lives. They had done their duty. They had survived, but the weight of the moment was immense. The two F-14s, low on fuel, formed up and returned to the USS Kennedy. They were met with a mix of celebration and sober reflection. An official investigation would later completely exonerate the American pilots. They had acted in self-defense, following every protocol. But why did the Libyans attack? Were the pilots on a suicide mission? Were they under orders to force a confrontation for Gaddafi's propaganda? We may never know. The incident stands as a stark demonstration of the razor's edge on which Cold War pilots lived. It was a clash of technology, training, and doctrine. The victory wasn't just about the machine. It was about the unmatched training of the US Navy pilots, and the revolutionary two-man crew of the F-14. The RIO, managing the complex radar and weapons systems, was a force multiplier that the lone MiG pilot could not match. The Gulf of Sidra Incident is a textbook example of modern air combat. It was fast, brutal, and decisive. It proved the lethality of the F-14 Tomcat and the men who flew it, not in a movie, but in the real high-stakes arena of international conflict. It was a fight that was over before most people have finished their morning coffee, yet its echoes are felt in military strategy to this day. So, what do you think was the single most decisive factor? Was it the superior technology of the AIM-9 Sidewinder, the brilliant maneuvering of Commander Connelly, or the flawless teamwork of the pilot-RIO combination? Let us know your expert analysis in the comments below. We have a fantastic community of aviation and history enthusiasts here, and we read every single one. If this deep dive into a pivotal moment in aviation history gripped you, if you want to see more content that breaks down the most intense seconds in military history, then do us a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to Top Tier TV. We're committed to bringing you the most gripping, well-researched stories from the front lines of history. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss our next mission. Thank you for watching.